The 2023 NBA draft finally is in the books in what seemed like the longest NBA draft ever. It's now over. We're going to break down every single pick. We'll grade all of the teams, even the ones that didn't have a pick. We'll still give you guys a grade technically and mention all of the picks in a draft that went on way too long. Let's begin alphabetical order with the Atlanta Hawks. I'll give them a B. Kobe Bufkin, of course, carries this draft class, the guard out of Michigan. I would say the 3 guard, or at least the number 3 guard on the roster behind the Murray and Young combo moving forward. Other picks, they got number 39, Mouhamed Gueye from Washington State. They also got Seth Lundy. You know, those second-round picks don't move the needle that much. Maybe a guy can be a nice backup big for you behind Clint Capella, or if they ever end up trading him. Depends on how much you like Bufkin. I think he's a pretty solid basketball player, not a home run pick, hence a B. Let's go to Boston. And we're getting weird with the grades already. Draft grade, a T for trade, because Boston began the night with a first-round pick and not much else. Then they traded down to get a first and more seconds in the future, traded down again to get 2 more seconds, traded down a third time, then took one of those picks and then moved the other one away. They traded down like 4 times in this draft. The only pick they made was Jordan Walsh, all said and done, the wing out of Arkansas, which is fine. I kind of would have liked just taking Marcus Sasser. They ended up flipping the Detroit Pistons, but it was Brad Trader Stevens taking, I guess, inspiration from Danny Ainge in this draft. Let's go to the Brooklyn Nets. A B+ here. Not a massive grade on a curve, by the way, but I do think the Nets took a good approach for where they are at. It took Noah Clowney with their first pick, number 21 overall. Fills a need, fits a role, can play that kind of power forward, the 5 role, offers some defense there. I like that selection, solid value. And I liked gambling on Dariq Whitehead, the potential lottery pick when he first went to Duke, had injuries, missed time. That is the type of pick you take if you are a not great basketball team. You're picking 21. Why not gamble and see if he can become a nice player for you, even if you're in pretty good shape at the wing? Jalen Wilson, by the way, the other wing from Kansas. I like the value there, but again, only a second rounder, not nearly as impactful. I want you guys to shout out your favorite team and grade their draft class at the pinned comment. So a 2-part ask. You could go, like I know producer Sam is going to be saying, Mavericks, A+. Whatever team you're a fan of, grade it for me at the pinned comment of today's show. If the ad comes here on YouTube, just ignore it. Go vote right now. The Charlotte Hornets, I am going to give them an A, even though I would have taken Scoot Henderson over Brandon Miller because he's the better player. Look, Miller's a better fit alongside LaMelo. I'm not too upset about that pick. In a normal class, you'd probably be pretty happy about Brandon Miller at number 2. I just think maybe Scoot Henderson would have been the better selection. Maybe you saw the mascot as well. But I really like their next couple picks. Nick Smith out of Arkansas had some medical stuff, I think, that dropped him a little bit, but he's a great combo guard to take at the back end of round 1. James Nnaji fits that big role. I like that selection as well. So what it may be a B+, A-, but I thought those other 2 picks really helped out the Hornets in the end. Let's move now to the Chicago Bulls. And I know our Bulls host, big-time fan, Patrick Seaman, was not very happy with the pick of Julian Phillips. This was more of a win-now move for a team that maybe shouldn't be trying to win now, and I thought it was a little bit early. You move all the way up in the second. You only gave away future seconds, so it's not that big of a deal, but that was just kind of a weird pick, I think, from Chicago. Let's go to the Cleveland Cavaliers then. I'll be nicer here. I'll give them a B. I like the pick of Emoni Bates, the wing out of Eastern Michigan, who at one point was supposed to be maybe a top 5, top 3 lottery pick in the NBA draft, but the talent never quite materialized. But at the back end of round 2, that's the type of gamble you should be prepared to take. Let's go to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this grade is influenced by their trade. They had number 10. They moved out of 12, got rid of the Davis Bertans contract, got a trade exception in that move, then took Dereck Lively, then used that trade exemption and not much else that we know about to take on the Rashawn Holmes contract from the Kings and take Olivier Maxence Prosper out of Marquette. I think it's a good class. Cam Whitmore clearly fell because of medical, so you take him off the board for Dallas, and then Dereck Lively feels like a pretty solid pick there. Are they still chasing that dragon of Tyson Chandler and the championship team? Yeah, probably. But I think flipping Bertans for Holmes and to getting 2 first-round picks is a really good class for the Dallas Mavericks. Let's go to Denver. I didn't love their picks necessarily. Julian Strawther, the guard from Gonzaga, Jalen Pickett. It took Hunter Tyson, the big man at Clemson, too. I know one thing about this Denver Nuggets team. If they take a guard in the NBA draft, they'll probably end up being a pretty damn good NBA player. So something tells me Strother or Pickett will end up being that nice next Nuggets guard find in the NBA draft. So I'll boost them a little bit there, but picking back end of round 1, not the best talent necessarily available. On now to the Detroit Pistons. I will give them an A. Oscar Thompson, the pick at number 5 overall, as the Thompson twins went back-to-back. First time that's ever happened in the NBA draft. They also got Marcus Sasser. Sasser. I like that pick out of Houston. Now, he'll be a backup guard for them behind that Jaden Ivey and kind of sort of Cade Cunningham combo. I think he's still more of a point forward there. But I did like those moves there by the Detroit Pistons to acquire 2 quality players. I have no problems going up into the back end of round 1 to get Marcus Sasser. I think that was the right range for him. Solid selections there by the Detroit Pistons. Overall, a good class, even if it didn't contain one of the big 3 like I know Pistons and Rockets, etc. fans were very much hoping for. Golden State Warriors, B-. Now, they actually made a trade late in this draft to acquire Trace Jackson Davis. They also shipped out Patrick Baldwin, which I found pretty interesting there in the end. Braden Podziemski, the guard out of Santa Clara, fits their mold of shooters. Just kind of feels like a Dante DiVincenzo replacement. I know there are some Warriors fans maybe not happy with the direction this team is going. This is still a fine draft. Remember the expectations that come with a barely top 20 pick. A lot of those guys don't end up being the most successful players in the NBA, which is just fine. All right, let's move on now to the Houston Rockets in just a moment. But first, folks, I want to hear who your biggest winner from the 2023 NBA draft is. You can be nice. One winner only. What team were you most impressed by this year? Go ahead and vote in the comments. Houston, they do get one of the few A-plus grades I gave out here. Amen Thompson, the number 4 overall pick. That was the expectation for the past week-ish, the overtime elite guard. And then they got Cam Whitmore at number 20 as well. If you had told someone, 2 weeks ago before some of the medical buzz had appeared around Whitmore, hey, Houston gets Whitmore and Amen Thompson, would have went, but how'd they get pick 4 and 5? In the end, Whitmore slides. Houston stops that slide. I have no concerns about that gamble. It's pick 20. Who cares if it ends up not working out? That is totally worth it there. And I loved Whitmore pre-medical. Love that haul for Houston. The Indiana Pacers, a B+ here. Drace Walker, the forward/big out of Houston. Solid fit alongside Miles Turner. I like that selection for Indiana. Ben Shepherd, maybe he's there, maybe not this year, but longer term, Buddy Hield replacement there. Mojave King, Isaiah Wong, some second-round picks that were worth gambling on, seeing how it all turns out. Little early on Ben Shepherd for me. I thought good value on Walker, so overall, very quality haul for the Indiana Pacers. Now, the 2023 NBA draft is over. NBA free agency is just around the corner, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Our crew here at Chat Sports will have you covered nonstop with all the latest NBA news, rumors, trade buzz. We'll see if Dame Lillard gets dealt or not. Hit that sub button right now. The LA Clippers, I'll give him a B-. Kobe Brown, that was a little early for me, but I think he fits that defensive style the Clippers really want to play on that side of the ball, so I don't mind that one. I did like the value for Jordan Miller, by the way, at number 48 overall. So not an earth-shattering class, not a bad class. I'm trying to be a bit nicer as I age, so I'll give the Clippers a B-. However, I did like the other Los Angeles teams draft a little bit better. A- for the LA Lakers. Like the value for Jalen Hood-Schifino. That can be a guard that can give them some playmaking minutes that team desperately needs. And what do you want to do around LeBron James if you're smart? 3-point shooters with defensive upside. That is Maxwell Lewis. I don't think they're going to get Austin Reeves 2.0 and in the UDFA/second round stage this year. But I did really like that pick for Maxwell Lewis. I saw people saying, "Oh, Lakers almost took him at 17." I don't think that was the case, but at 40, good pick. The Memphis Grizzlies, how about a B+ here? I really like the value of Gigi Jackson out of South Carolina. I thought he should have gone a lot earlier than where he ended up going. Dariq Biberovic, I think I got that name pronounced correctly. A draft and stash out of Turkey. I have no information for you on Dariq, but he was taken by Memphis at number 56 overall. Maybe we'll see him in a few years. Maybe he won't, but I did really like the value for G.G. Jackson. So slight grade on the curve there, I suppose, for Memphis, who, of course, also acquired Marcus Smart, technically leading into this draft as part of the wild Kristaps Porzingis trade. The Miami Heat, Jaime Vasquez Jr. Out of UCLA. I don't mind the pick of Jaime. I think that's fine. Our Heat fan, Rolly, didn't love the pick, didn't hate the pick, was kind of fine with it, and that's kind of where I am as well. I know he wanted Jalen Hood-Schifino. Of course, that he goes one pick to the Lakers. Solid pick there for Jaime. I think he'll be a nice high-floor role player for the Miami Heat. And if we know anything about Miami, they tend to do a pretty good job of finding ways to maximize those higher-floor role players. So not my favorite pick, but not a bad pick either at number 18 overall. Let's move now to the Milwaukee Bucks. And I do like what the Bucks did in this year's NBA draft. They move up aggressively in the second round. They get a great pick at the back end of round 2. I will give them an A-. Andre Jackson, love that pick in round 2 out of UConn. There's a nice high-floor impact player for the Milwaukee Bucks. And apparently Chris Livingston only wanted to play for Milwaukee. There was a Rich Paul on teams, don't draft him. He wants to go to one team. I guess that was the Bucks, unless something weird happened. There was a promise, and Livingston should have gone earlier. Not 18, but not 58 either, so good haul there. The Timberwolves, I'll give them a B. It's kind of solid overall. I like the Leonard Miller pick, the wing out of the G League. Jaden Clark back in round 2, solid as well. Just seems solid for Minnesota, who, of course, is kind of committed to this current core as it's currently constructed. So we'll see how that looks moving forward. To the Pelicans, all those rumors of trying to get Scoot Henderson did not materialize. Still a good draft, though. B+. I like the Jordan Hawkins pick a lot. I think he's going to be a really good player for the Pelicans. You know, short-term can contribute. Long-term can probably take over that C.J. McCollum role. I think will be a nice impact piece for the Pelicans, who are, I think, still trying to win games this upcoming season and be contenders as much as possible. So, like that one there for the Pelicans. All right, the New York Knicks. No grade. No picks for New York. They'll have some more picks in the future, but nothing to report there on New York. Let's move to the Oklahoma City Thunder then. I don't mind Case. I think he's actually a very good player. I think he's worth the top 10-ish pick. I just don't love his fit with Oklahoma City. They have guards. They have Gueye. They have SGA. I don't know if they needed another more ball-dominant-ish guard. I think he'll be a good player. Thunder were kind of in an awkward spot there. I actually like the Keontae Johnson potential depth pick there. Not a bad pick, just not my favorite fit for Wallace and Thunder. But look, he is a hooper. He'll have some success in the NBA. All right, on to the Orlando Magic. I actually like the first pick of Anthony Black, another kind of point guard-ish player for the Orlando Magic. Maybe he can be an even starter for them down the road. Chet Howard at 11. Was really interesting. It's Juwan Howard's kid. I get the upside, but he was not that good at Michigan, not up to the expectations. I'd have taken Grady Dick in a heartbeat over Howard, so that did drop the Magic's grade for me. The Sixers had no picks, so much like the Knicks, they will be getting the old NA grade. All right, the Phoenix Suns, they had one pick all the way down at pick number 52, and I guess I'll be a little bit mean to them. Toumani Camara out of Dayton. Also, I'm docking this grade because Shams tweeted out it was the Suns pick. Then it was going to the Wizards. Then it wasn't going to the Suns. Or wasn't going to the Wizards, going to the Suns after all. So half grade docked for the chaos there. Plus, you only have pick 52. Whatever. Who really cares? The Portland Trailblazers. Now, we'll leave Dame Lillard out of this conversation for now. But the picks themselves, really intriguing. Scoot Henderson, I thought was the second best player in this year's draft. Love that fit, and long-term, a Henderson, Anthony Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe backcourt guard trio is awesome. Chris Murray, great value pick number 24. Did snipe the Kings, which was kind of mean, but hey, whatever. And then Rupert has some nice upside developmental piece in the second round. Maybe see him in 2 years. All right, the Kings, give him a C+. They traded down, got rid of the Rashawn Holmes contract. I do like taking Colby Jones. It's a solid pick. But it was also just a second rounder. And then Jalen Slauson out of Furman as well, and we'll see if he ends up making the team for the Kings, at least beyond the first year or two. Colby Jones is fine, but when fine's your best pick, that kind of says C-plus grade to me. All right, who was the biggest loser then from the 2023 NBA Draft? Your turn to be mean in the comment section. Drop that team name right now. The Spurs get an A+, because duh, of course they do. Wemby was the prize of the draft, the prize of the last several drafts, no-brainer there. Teddy Sissoko as well, another wing. We'll see if the Spurs can develop him. Look, it's all about Wemby, right? Every draft grader should be giving the Spurs an A+ for Wemby because that's a LeBron James-esque prospect. All right, the Toronto Raptors. If anyone who loves me is watching, can you buy me a throwback Raptors jersey with Dick on the back? Because that sounds awesome to me. Love the pick of Grady Dick by the Toronto Raptors. I thought that's a really good fit for them. Add some shooting. Helps them short-term or long-term. If they want to rebuild or go for it right now. Best player on the board at that time. Easy A selection right there for the Raptors. The Utah Jazz, I'll give them an A-. Some good gambles here. Taylor Hendricks at number 9 overall, I thought was very quality value and a good selection by Utah. Keontae George was a worthwhile gamble. There's a lot of boom or bust in his game, but if you're Utah, why not gamble on the big-time bust? You're rebuilding. And Bryce Sensabaugh is a great three-point shooter. Those are 3, I think, role players early on in their careers for Utah. It's a good class. Finally, the Wizards. Now, they went with the aggressive upside pick. They move up for Bilal Coulibaly, which I think is worthwhile. You are blowing it up in Washington. You have the ability to be patient for Bilal and see how long it takes him to grow and develop, etc. Tristan Vukcevic, I think I got that last name right, a potential big man. Again, they're taking the Spurs or the Thunder approach of foreign, which is fine. I think it could end up working out pretty well for them. All upside, could be boom, could be bust, but if you're Washington, gamble, because you're not going to be good for the next few years anyway.